On Wednesday evening, a senseless act of violence occurred, okay? And there was a shooting in Washington, D.C. I know it's a day that ends in Y, but this time it ended up being a targeted attack. Again, stop me if you've heard this before. And it involves two individuals working for the country of Israel. Again, stop me if you've heard this before, but no. In all seriousness, it's like, man, you can have your opinions on what's going on in the Middle East. Okay, I get it. I have mine. They're very strong. I am not a big fan of what's going on over there at all whatsoever, based on what I've seen, and especially a bunch of the propaganda being weaponized in order to push a certain agenda that we will be talking about and discussing towards the end of this video. So yeah, I am not a fan of this stuff. Then at the same time, if you have your disagreements, if you don't like what's going on here, knocking off two staffers isn't going to change a damn thing. This is just stupid, man. Like, yeah, okay, I've seen a couple of posts about how Yaron, I forget his last name or whatever, but it really doesn't much matter, but Sarah's an American, Yaron's an Israeli. Oh, he was in the IDF. Oh, he's a Zionist. It's like, yeah, he's from Israel. Kind of makes sense, right? If it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, probably hands out high-interest loans. But, dude, unless, of course, you're just going to go ahead and go down that path of thinking that, you know, there's this big cabal out there and that they're running everything. It's like, these dudes just worked at the embassy in Washington, D.C. They don't control anything, okay? They probably know a lot of powerful people that do, but in general, it's like you're just spurging out and honestly, yeah, just being a senseless murderer, okay? When it comes to how this is being reported, though, this is where I start to take a bit of an issue because, okay, yeah, this comes straight out of the Embassy of Israel to the United States. Yaron and Sarah were our friends and colleagues. They were in the prime of their lives. This evening, a terrorist shot and killed them as they exited an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum in D.C. The entire embassy staff is heartbroken and devastated by their murder. No words can express the depth of our grief and horror. This is a devastating loss. Our hearts are with their families, and the embassy will be by their side during this terrible time. All of that's fine, except for the whole terrorist thing is like, okay, if anything, and I would even hazard to use this designation, but realistically, the way that even the suspect was categorizing his motives, I would say probably a hate crime. Like, you could say that. You could add that multiplier. I despise that ruling, and I'm not a big fan of it, but it's on the books, and that seems far more appropriate than calling the guy a terrorist. Like, that's an additional multiplier, man. Okay, the court papers say suspect, and yeah, in a written affidavit, declared, I did it for Palestine, I did it for Gaza. How does that help? Okay, killing an American and a guy working at the Israeli embassy. How does that help Palestine? How does that help Gaza? Which, that's the same place. I don't know why you need to go ahead and differentiate it. You fucking ill-informed dork. And this is where I land on this stuff. This is an idiot, okay? Elias Rodriguez, 31, shouted, "Free Palestine," as he was led away after the arrest, according to the charging documents that provided chilling new details of Wednesday night's shootings in the nation's capitals. Yeah, they killed an American woman and an Israeli man who had just left an event at the museum. Two people killed were identified as Yaron Lischinsky and an Israeli citizen, and Sarah Milgrim, an American. Yeah, they were a young couple about to be engaged. It's sad. It's legitimately sad because you might think that, oh, some of the work that they're doing is bad, but they didn't deserve this. Legitimately, this is fucking dumb. And even if you do support a free Palestine, or if you're somebody who's standing with Israel, there's a way to have your opinion heard. There's a way that you can voice your dissent on either side of this that doesn't involve killing innocent people. And that's a big reason why I'm on one side of this divide as opposed to the other. But yes, I can have my principled stances and I can take my shots on social media as I see fit. But there's somebody and somebody's fan base who apparently cannot do that because Twitch star Hasan Piker, I'm coming for you. And this time it's not Sam Hyde that you got to be worried about. It's about the ADL facing backlash after the Capitol Jewish Museum shooting. Boy, this is not looking good for you, my guy. Hasan Piker is facing massive backlash following a deadly shooting in Washington, D.C. Just over 2 days before the shooting, Piker hosted a live stream with over 20,000 viewers, which is honestly for Hasan, that's a rather small viewership. You think that he might be complaining about that in certain leaked discords in the future, but I think he's got more pressing issues right now. Featuring George Bad Empanada Ganadis. Okay, I don't know these Twitch people, man. I don't watch Twitch at all anymore. Now that Maximilian Dude, even though I kind of dropped off on watching him because even living in California with his touch of TDS, it's not too bad. Normally he keeps out of it, but every once in a while it creeps in and it's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm just going to have to wait a little while, especially until Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 news starts coming out. Then I'll be checking it a little bit more, but I digress. Yeah, he starts streaming on YouTube and it's like, bye-bye any reason to just check out Twitch at all whatsoever, because if that site, legitimately, if that site blew up, I would totally be fine. Except if there's one thing that's going to be its impetus, which is also what we're going to be talking about. But yes, Piker stream with Ganadis, okay, who has repeatedly made provocative comments against Israelis. Hasan is going to get people killed. One widely shared ex-post claim. I wish young people today understood how to protest. You will never change society hating half of America or through violence or bigotry. One ex-user slammed the Twitch star. He also said that Houthi tactics are justified and said that they should win a Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, wow, that's a fucking stupid thing to say, but that's Hasan, man. That's Hasan, and that's his stupid audience, okay? Because, okay, like, I don't say that lightly. It's just, if you unironically think that Hasan Piker is a thought leader on anything for how to monetize a chair react stream, you get what you deserve, man. Because this guy, I don't think, okay, well, I can articulate why I support one side of this argument as opposed to the other. I do not generally think that Hasan would have the capability to tell you in 100 words or less why he supports Palestine without evoking Israel or without evoking Wikipedia or the chat to give him sources. He is a dumb motherfucker, okay? This is a 70 IQ individual leading thousands of 60 IQ individuals. I've heard him opine, unfortunately, on many a topics, and nothing of note has ever come out of his mouth, except for some very funny memes about how he would literally die, dude, if his mom didn't bring him chicken. And how he can lie about things and ban longtime viewers in his chat for the dumbest of fucking reasons. But with all that said, him being targeted by the ADL, I mean, here's the thing, man. I despise the ADL. Okay, Anti-Defamation League, like Elon Musk once said, just drop the anti part of that stuff. This is not a dichotomous conflict at this point in time, okay? Just because I don't like the tactics that the ADL is using doesn't mean that I'm going to be stumping for Hasan, and just because I think Hasan is largely responsible for radicalizing a bunch of these fucking nutcases doesn't mean that I'm siding with the ADL. Okay, and while you can take a look at some of the stuff that's been going on, and recently, like you even had Trump, and I know I seen this quote that was out there, but him saying, yeah, eventually Israel's going to have to learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. There's a certain song right now dominating all of the charts. It has one of the wildest and most catchiest choruses that you're likely to ever find, blowing up the charts. And yeah, it just so happens something like this happens, and the old noggin gets a joggin', thinking that, oh yeah, we've kind of been here before. All of a sudden, oh yeah, people start looking into circumstances, people start noticing a couple of things, and then something catastrophic happens, and now all of a sudden we need to start standing with our greatest ally. I mean, everything seems to be a little bit too convenient, but at this point in time, man, I think 10, 15 years from now, if we find out that, yeah, this was all a big setup, and across the street there were a few guys, dancing on the top of a moving van and flicking lighters like a rock concert, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised, but then at the same time, I don't really think that this was a setup, mostly because there are some fucking nutcases that are out there. So yeah, Hasan says that the DC shooting could easily be perceived as a false flag, but ultimately rejects the notion. Also talks about the shooter's psyche, genuine in his actions and maybe a little bit brain broken. Again, just, really, really smart takes that we have right here.
But like I'm not Mr. False Flag at all, but like every single thing that he did in the aftermath of the shooting is so fucking crazy that it's like, you could not have fucking designed a incident like this. You could not have designed a better false flag incident like this. I'm not saying it is a false flag incident at all. I'm not saying that. I think this is just a one dude who is genuine in his actions and maybe, you know, a little bit brain broken. Okay.
Fucking people watch hours of that stuff. That 37, we only got, what, 36 seconds all the way through that, and holy fuck, that already felt like an hour and a half. But yeah, he knows his audience. He knows that there's probably a couple of people that were out there that may or may not have been planning something, maybe not that radical, but getting awfully close to it. So he has to walk a fine line, because it's an interesting spot that he's found himself in, okay? Capitulating to, at that point in time, which, okay, this probably would have been a fairly large stream, but at 36,000 people, I think I can see right up there, you know, checking this stuff out as he's commentating over, I don't know, some arrest footage or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Whatever, man. But there's enough people that you can see, you know, in between the stupid emojis and goofy-ass Pepes that pop up every once in a while that are saying, well, there's one that's there that says solidarity, and it's like, yep, you know why he can't come out and say, even if he does believe one way or another, if it was or wasn't a false flag, he's got to play both sides. But I think, oh God, heading into next week, he's going to have to make a little bit stronger of a statement, because I think Twitch's time in the barrel is definitely about to come. They managed to skate on all of that crap with TwitchCon, and what's the name of that fat fucking orbiter? I forget her Jabba the Hutt ass looking name. But the one who is ranking races and using code words on stage, it's like she got what, like 2-day ban or something like that. And certain outlets, Ben Shapiro was a little bit perturbed, but this time around, man, you got, you know, Jonathan Greenblatt flapping his fucking gums again because it's a day that ends in Y. But it's CNN putting this stuff on. I mean, that's definitely a step up here. Okay, let's go run it back.
All of us need to call it out. I'm thinking about the New York Times doing a gauzy profile a few weeks ago of this gamer, Hasan Piker, who regularly employs awful genocidal rhetoric against Jewish people in the Jewish state. Like, extremists should not be empowered. People who spout prejudice should not be platformed. This is a moment when we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say, we've got to stop this, because the consequences are deadly.
Yeah, here's the thing, man. The ADL is such a scumbag op, and the fact that they're employing the exact same tactics again. Oh, you see, he said such terrible things. What exactly did he say there, John? Oh, he said terrible things. Anything specifically? Yes, the terrible stuff. Okay, cool, fantastic. So you want to ban somebody? You want to potentially cripple a platform because you might have heard something that potentially could be construed as being something you don't like? Fantastic stuff. Listen, man, when they cracked down on Twitter a couple years back, you've seen massive sweeping changes. Elon Musk bringing in this very compromised CEO. You've seen massive advertisers pull their support. I don't like it. I really don't like it. And hell, I'm not a Hasan fan, not a Twitch fan at all. I'm just very much against the ADL and their shady, censorious practices. And it's exactly what Grum says here. The ADL blaming Hasan and saying he shouldn't be platformed is a watershed moment. Twitch never evenly enforced their TOS. Has this blatant hypocrisy is coming to bite them in the ass. I don't think Twitch should deplatform Hasan, no, but they should definitely curb violent political or personal threats or violence, as this area is not protected free speech and a clear violation of their TOS. Enforce it equally, or get rid of the double standard. Exactly. I would much rather just, you know, let all of these freak shows just say whatever the hell they want and not ban anybody. That's my position on all of this stuff. Get as fucking buck-ass wild as you want, outside of, you know, like, obvious illegal threats, okay? Because there's a very clear distinction of what is and what isn't. A targeted threat, like, go down there and neutralize that problem at this time, at that place, okay, we're all meeting up and we're going there. That's a threat, that's a plan, that's illegal, as opposed to just simply calling out and showing video about what's going on in Gaza. That's a little bit of a different situation. That's just simply going, oh, look at what a supposed defense force is doing, and the way that they're spinning it. See, there's a couple of different ways that you can go on this stuff. That is protected speech. That shouldn't be a violation, but freaks like Jonathan Greenblatt want to go ahead and conflate that with actual calls of violence. And the ADL has lost the plot so bad that even somebody, okay, that is far more engaged with a very active beef with Hasan can even call out his bullshit. Asmongold weighs in on the ADL blaming Hasan, and instead of reading the recap, let's just play the clip.
So the last previous thing that he retweeted about me was also about me. let's see here. Israel is an apartheid state doing a live stream genocide. I think it's wrong and dangerous to conflate these heinous actions with Jews. The Apartheid Defense League doesn't because they think they can improve Israel's standing by silencing its critics. It won't change the truth. This is not really true. The fact is that whenever you openly platform terrorism, you say that you don't have a problem with terrorist organizations that want to kill Jewish people. This is going to increase the rhetoric. This does turn up the temperature of the rhetoric. That's what happens. I mean, it's, again, for somebody to blame Hasan is unfair, but for somebody to say that Hasan has not been a radicalizing force in causing these people to be more extreme, I think you're being delusional. That's it. Not even condemning the guy. Yeah, exactly, right? Not even condemning him. And so, anyway. And so, do you think Twitch will forbid politics streams on a platform? There's a chance that could happen, for sure. Watch Twitch ban you out of frustration. How correct your prediction was? I did. And do you think there will be bleed over into Amazon sales and their advertisements? No, not at all. I don't.
No, because, yeah, of course, like, Amazon's the parent company of Twitch, and especially if the ADL starts pressing Jeff Bezos, ooh, there could be some changes, and Twitch finally bleeding Amazon that they have for the past how many years at this point in time. They've been a big loss leader. This could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. But yeah, of course, Asmongold, 1000% correct. Hasan, blaming him for what happened, yeah, that's silly. But pointing out that, oh boy, he has done his fair share for king and for country as it comes to radicalizing people. Yeah, you gotta be fair, and you gotta call some balls and strikes on that one, okay? Hasan has done some wild shit himself. Remember what he said about what was that event that America deserved? And then, yeah, of course, platforming a terrorist. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There's a lot of shit that he has done that is very sketchy. But then again, giving any power and empowering the ADL is fucking dumb, because they are the jackboots for the likes of, well, you got old fucking Benji up here. And the Free Palestine is just today's version of a Kanye West song. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? They want to control dissent. They want to start shifting the narrative. It was terrible what happened at the museum. Do not take anything away from that. That was a random murder. It was a targeted murder. A senseless act of violence committed by a deeply disturbed and deranged individual. Somebody who likely shares a lot of the thoughts and opinions of Hasan Piker, might be a huge fan, don't entirely know for sure. But to try to use that in order to push your own political talking points, to try to deplatform an individual, to try to take down an entire platform itself, to try to curb speech off of this? Yeah, I don't fucking think so, man. So pointing this stuff out is exceedingly important, because we have seen this pattern take place time and time again. So that's why a lot of people were thinking, oh boy, this could, I don't know, man, because of what we've been seeing recently, it seems an awful lot of convenience could be happening, probably isn't happening, but as one man once said, never let a tragedy go to waste, and it's unfortunate that that's going to be the legacy of the two people that were shot dead. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.